So Sir Jorah, Sir Alistair, and Robert Baratheon get into the oil industry. I don't know the punchline.
Lights, camera, action.
Welcome back to the Cinema Dive. My name is Nathan, and today I am finally getting around to my final thoughts on the television show The Rig. Off the beaten path, I did decide to check out a television show, as technically it is all part of cinema nowadays. And to be honest, like I said in my mid-season review, I was actually kind of stoked for this because it kind of gave off this kind of Lovecraftian horror feel when they released the original promotional materials for it, but it's not good. So in case you haven't seen this show yet, I'll just say right now, you probably don't need to waste your time on it, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil a little bit that's coming through. In my mid-season review, I discussed a lot about the characters not seeming very fully developed, and a lot of them were written very poorly, along with slightly bad acting in certain spots. But ultimately, there was a mystery that had to be solved, and I just couldn't leave it at a mid-season. I had to finish it through. When we left the crew, they were all terrified, and some of them were experiencing being infected by some sort of spore that had gotten into their air, and that had come from this fog/ash that had fallen outside. Now, this seemed to be some sort of defense mechanism where we find out later that there's a big entity at the bottom of the ocean that probably is taking up most of the ocean in the world and somehow interconnected, and it was trying to work through a couple of the characters to, well, make peace, I guess. But the oil industry was aware of it, and when we get good old Robert Baratheon, aka Mark Addy, coming over from another oil rig that was destroyed, he kind of starts revealing that they had known all about this and that they were planning on killing this creature, and that somehow this creature has been responsible for all major extinction events on the planet, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Either way, we'll get away from that. So it's a big creature at the bottom of the ocean, and yeah, that gives me a little bit of Lovecraftian vibes, but it just was so poorly portrayed, and we have this whole thing where an oil company is the one who's full aware of it and is going to try and save humanity from the next extinction. Well, lo and behold, we get towards the end of the show, and there is an evac coming to pick him up, along with everyone else who has survived. And it looks like the creature is now distrustful of everyone, as there are many attempts to stop it from doing whatever it's trying to do, and the attempts to stop the people it has put under its thrall. As Baz says, it has shut him out and won't listen to him anymore. Anyways, apparently the creature is responsible for what is called the Storiega slide. Basically, a structural failure of an underwater shelf causes massive underwater landslides that create massive tsunamis. And apparently that's what's happening in this show at the end. And as they go to fly away, we see a giant tsunami wave coming in, which they barely miss, but we then get a cutscene of the people living on the coast, and we see that it is coming in to destroy them. So I do believe they are trying to set the show up for a second season following this through, unless they're just trying to leave it at this completely dismal and very depressing ending. But I guess we'll have to see. It still sits at 3.5 stars, so it has not gone down any further. And like I said, I have seen worse on Amazon. But nonetheless, a lot of people just have not really connected with this. Another thing to the writing is they try and impose a lot of different current political and social themes throughout the entire show, which is totally fine. Lots of shows do it, but they try and do so many and in such a blatant way that it doesn't fit well with the rest of the writing or even with the flow of the story, that it seems very jarring in the aspect that they do it. And it seems like they just have like all these together and they just throw them at you at once, which doesn't quite work in the whole flow of any type of cinema. And then once again, with characters that you almost don't really care about, you kind of just want to slog through it and just get the bits and pieces that make sense and tie into this weird apocalyptic monster type story and get away from a lot of the drama that they try and create to make you interested in the characters. Ultimately, I don't know if you've gone and watched this yet and if you have a different opinion, and so if you do, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you thought about it and why you thought it was a good show if you do. Or if you're someone who just couldn't make it through it, let me know that as well. And are we going to see a season 2? I mean, the ending kind of is that cliffhanger-esque kind of thing where it looks like they want to push towards a season 2, especially with the fact that the first season was a very short one at only 6 episodes. Either way, I do plan on doing some TV shows like this. I do like short series, you know, 1-2 seasons, kind of special edition kind of stuff, like HBO puts out a lot of these, but Amazon and Netflix has been catching up. Because in today's world, modern television has become a much bigger part of today's cinema. But if you liked the video, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. They help the channel grow, help me grow as a content creator. And get down in the comments. Let me know of other shows, movies, anything like that you want to see on the channel, whether it's a full-on review, a deep dive into their production, or a look behind the hidden meanings that they tried to impose in the show, whether they're political, social, or economical. And with all that being said, you all have a wonderful day.